Hello, everybody. My name is Riley Thomas, and today for my informative speech, I am going to be talking about bees. I'm going to be talking about the impact that they play in our lives and how they are just so important to us. Whenever we think about bees, I feel like most of the time we think of the honey that they produce or the fact that they sting whenever we step on them outside. And both of those things are very true, and the honey is very important. But I think that we do not realize the extent of how bees can impact us. They can impact us deeply on 3 different levels in 3 different areas. And those 3 areas are what I'm going to be talking about today, which are ecosystem support, economic value, and human health. So getting into the ecosystem support, bees are pollinators, which everyone knows. We learn that from a very young age, but I feel like we don't learn the extent to how much they pollinate and how much that they provide for us. I found in an article called Pollinators at a Crossroads that bees pollinate 1/3 of the food that we eat, which that in itself just surprised me so much, because whenever I heard that, I was like, there's no way that they pollinate 1/3 of the food that we eat every single day. But whenever I was reading into this and actually looking into it, I realized that actually is very true. Not only do they create honey and pollinate flowers, but they also transfer nectar and pollen from plant to plant, which then allows the plants to reproduce and also produce seeds and fruit, which we eat every single day almost. The bees pollinate our wild trees and our wild flowers, which then supports other insects, which then supports birds, bats, and many other mammals, and provides them with shelter and food. So it's kind of like a chain. And whenever you go up the chain and back to the very beginning, it all starts from bees. And I thought that was very interesting and something that we do not realize at all. Next, being the economic value, this was the part that shocked me the most, and I still really cannot even imagine this. Bees are quoted as the foundation of our global food supply, which from what I just talked about is very true. They are at the base of the whole food chain, the whole food supply. They ultimately provide these things for us and all the other animals. But getting into the value of bees, it says the added revenue to crop production from pollinators is valued at $18 billion. This was so surprising to me. I still cannot even imagine $18 billion. That is so much. It also says they increase crop values each year by more than $15 billion in the United States alone. So imagine just over the whole entire world. That is literally so crazy to me. And it says they pollinate more than 80% of all cultivated crops. I think this just shows us how deep of an impact bees can have that we do not appreciate and we just kind of overlook. They add more than $15 billion in the US alone in crop values. I got this information from an article called Why Are Bees Important and an article called Why Bees. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is how they impact human health. So people all over the world, all different cultures, all different religions, they use bee-related products for medicine, any medical purposes. Everyone has different medicine traditions that normally include the use of honeybee products. That is honey, bee pollen, royal jelly, beeswax, and bee venom. And all of these products have been found to exhibit anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and antioxidant activities. I got all of that information from an article called Medical Benefits of Honeybee Products. Whenever I saw that, I was automatically intrigued, and I just guess I didn't realize the amount of things that bees can be used for, and we don't really realize the extent of the role that bees play in our everyday lives, whether that is from supporting our ecosystem to increasing crop values and even providing humans with medicines. Bees play a very important and huge role in human and all other animal lives every single day. And normally this role goes unrecognized. So today, my speech was just to inform you on all the different ways that bees impact our lives. Thank you for listening.